10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Growing bolder, what's next?
Hi, everybody. I'm Marc Middleton, live in the Growing Bolder offices, anxious to speak to today's guest. In fact, it would be an understatement to say that I'm enthusiastic not only about what she does, but how she does it. In just a few minutes, we will speak with Dana Griffin, who's a former data and advertising executive turned age tech entrepreneur and AI for good advocate. How cool is that? Dana is the New York director of AI Commons. She's an official UN delegate to Global Pulse, and she speaks internationally about principled uses of AI, which of course is artificial intelligence, for innovation, for policy, and social impact. But that is not why she's here today. Ad Age has named her one of 40 under 40 for transforming the advertising industry, but that is not why she's here today. She is into Vedic meditation, the oldest form of meditation there is. She trains in Krav Maga, which is hand-to-hand combat, that system that was developed by the Israeli military. She spends her free time cooking and exploring human consciousness, and as we just found out, chasing her cat around her apartment in New York. But that's not why she's here today either. She is the co-founder and the CEO of Eldera, which is a global intergenerational mentoring system that connects those with at least 6 decades of life experience with boys and girls who are 5 to 15. She is the creator of a virtual village that underscores the value of elders, the value that they bring to society by sharing their wisdom with youngsters. It is, in my estimation, an intergenerational grand slam. And before we talk to Dana, take a look at this very short video.
Okay. Let's see, Mac. There you are, Mac.
Yeah. But the mother says, it's time for your you-know-what. But of course, Olivia is not sleepy at all.
I understand empathy until I was maybe almost 50. Empathy is, I'm going to try to feel the way you feel. I'm going to try to see if I can get a sense of how it is to be you.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And he has good.
I think so, Kim.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, let's go do that.
Who doesn't need an early lesson in empathy? And before we introduce Dana, here's one of my favorite quotes, and it's a popular Growing Bolder meme. It's from the Oscar, Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Award-winning actress and humanitarian Audrey Hepburn, who said, quote, "As you grow older, you will discover that you have hands, one for helping yourself and the other for helping others." And of course, in her later years, Hepburn worked tirelessly for UNICEF in some of the poorest communities in Africa, South America, and Asia. She obviously knew what Dana Griffin knows, and that is that as we age, we become more and more purpose-driven at a time when it becomes more and more difficult to share your wisdom. So let's find out how Eldera is doing just that. Hi, Dana. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're excited to talk to you. We really appreciate it. And before I ask you about Krav Maga, because I got to know how you got into that, tell us how Eldera works.
So we founded Eldera this March during the quarantine. And the reason why we did that is because we found that there were millions of amazing mentors who have decades of life experience who were stuck at home. And at the same time, there were millions of kids who were stuck at home and their parents were really in need of a little bit of help. So my co-founders and I came together and we decided, you know what, let's just put the 2 generations together and see what happens and let them take care of each other. And what happened was incredible. we now have kids in 17 countries, and
Wow.
all of our mentors are in the US. Yeah, it's beautiful. We get messages both from our mentors and our parents every day about how being part of Eldera is changing their days and their lives. And fundamentally, when we started this with my co-founders, Kate and Jules, we just wanted to make someone's day better during the pandemic. And now our hopes are that we can take the love and generosity and learning that gets shared at Eldera every day around the world.
I want to know more about how Eldera works, but before you share that with us, I know that you came about your desire to help elders naturally. You were raised by your grandmother. Tell us a little bit about your own background and why you have such reverence for older people.
Yes, thank you. I didn't even realize that I had a reverence for older people, or that was unusual in any way. So I was born in Transylvania in Romania, and I was raised by my grandparents. And when my grandparents passed away, I ended up moving to the States for university in 2001, so quite a while ago. And I continued searching out elder mentors, to help me with all my life decisions, from finding my first job, to finding an apartment, to dating, to cooking, to making investments. But 30% or so of my friend group is between 60s and 90s. And let me tell you, taking dating advice from 90-year-old ladies is pretty fantastic. But and I pursued a career in advertising and data. And it was just about 3 years ago when one of my dearest people, my dearest mentors, who is a mother figure to me here in New York, ended up passing away from cancer. And that's when I really realized the gift that I've been given by having access to these incredible mentors. And I realized that our relationship was synergetic. It was really good for me because I needed advice. I needed someone who's been through what I've been through to give me advice and care for me. And it was also really good for them because they could see their legacy lived through my actions. And it was fun for both of us. And that's when I realized that I wanted to make this intergenerational connection available for everyone around the world because it's really good for us.
Well, what you have done, and folks, we're speaking with Dana Griffin, and I hope you heard her intro and understand that she is an expert on data and artificial intelligence. She's an age tech entrepreneur who is now kind of marshaling all of these skills to do something for older people, which is really, really cool. And I think that's one of the reasons, other than the fact I love what you're doing and why you're doing it, but how you're doing it is one of the things that really captured my attention because this is a curated experience. All of your mentors are given a background check. You guys have your own platform, your technology platform that people use. It's safe and it's secure. So talk to us a little bit about how the experience works and what it's like for someone to become a mentor.
So the experience, one of our goals in building Eldera is to make it as natural and as easy as possible for people to connect. And we're all about one-on-one connections. So in fact, we don't give people choices. We match them, and we match the mentor with the parent and the kid based on a lot of different variables. So the way this works is that you sign up on our website, and you fill out a profile, whether you're a mentor or a parent. And if you're a mentor, we ask that you have at least 6 decades of experience. And that's a non-negotiable, by the way. That is something I really, really believe in. And once you have 60 years of experience, we put you through a background check. We vet you. That is why, people ask us, are mentors from around the world? No, all of our mentors are in the US right now. So after we vet you, we put you through a training, and then I personally onboard every single mentor and prepare them for their first conversation and their match. And that's when my co-founder Kate takes over. She is, we call her our Yenta. She goes through the profiles and everything everyone writes about themselves. And we ask things anywhere from, for the mentors in particular, we ask them about their previous work experience, if they have kids or grandkids, what's their superpower, what's their favorite childhood book, and their availability. But then we also look not just at what they write, but when they fill out the application, how they fill it out. Do they write with capital letters or not? There's a lot of behavioral signals that we take into consideration in addition to how you speak about yourself. And all of those signals come into play when we make a match. Because really, Eldera is about finding that perfect match between an elder and a kid. And what we've also realized is once we match an elder and a kid, every single relationship is completely unique. Because think of Eldera almost as the opposite of social media. We provide the platform, we provide the tools and the safety net, and then every single match creates their perfect, unique relationship and friendship. And in fact, the way we measure the success of our matches is in recurring conversations. And 92% of the people that ever signed up on our platform now speak once or twice a week for months on end. So we're very, very excited about that.
The idea is fabulous. The execution is amazing. And, another thing, folks, that I liked about this is that, once the mentors are cleared and vetted and trained, they communicate directly only with the parents, except when they have their mentoring session, and then they get to talk to the kids. But there is no communication between the mentor and the children outside of these mentoring sessions. Do I have that right?
You have that exactly right. There are a lot of ways that we build in safety into our community. In fact, my co-founder, Kate, was a prosecutor in New York. So we're very, very tight about safety. And that is why kids cannot sign up, kids do not communicate, except on the session that is parent approved, it's password protected. We record on and off sessions for quality assurance, and we make sure all of that is incredibly tight. You know what you should know too is that we didn't think the parents are going to play that big of a role, but we're learning now from our mentors that parents reach out to them too because they want that mentoring relationship. In fact, we see this sometimes in calls happening, and it's adorable. The mentor is talking to the kid, and then the parent sits down and just scoots over the kid because they want to have that relationship and mentorship too. So eventually the mentor becomes part of the family. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It is very, very exciting. And I just love what you're doing, obviously, and how you're doing it. And what type of a commitment is required from a mentor? I mean, do you require that they talk to them once a week, once a month? Well, what's the ideal situation and the amount of commitment required?
Thank you for asking me that because, we don't make a very, the commitment is quite lightweight. So we ask mentors to sign up once a week for 30 minutes to an hour. We like them to keep an hour, and here's why. Once you get the kids talking, that 30-minute can go to an hour, and it's fun for both of them. But that's about the commitment. We also check in every 4 weeks with both the mentors and the parents to see how they're doing. If they need anything extra, if they're still enjoying the commitment, and this is how we learn. But Eldera is actually about much more than just that one-on-one relationship. And everything we built from that first call has been directed by our mentors. I'll give you a few examples here because it's really fun. Even when I onboard mentors multiple times a week, I tell them, please tell me anything you can think of for Eldera because that is how we build our product. So in fact, one of our early mentors is a friend of my co-founder, actor Richard Kind. And, when it came to storytelling, he said, I would like to do storytelling for kids. And in fact, he dubs a lot of kid movies. So that's really cool. But I want an audience. So he said, okay. We emailed all of our parents and they signed up. And then Richard read stories. And that was our first fireside chat because then the parents said, this was fabulous. When's the next one? And can I invite other friends? So that was fireside chat. Great. Then a couple of weeks in, we were talking to the mentors one-on-one, either Kate or myself, as our third co-founder, Jules, builds all the technology behind us. That's really essential. But we were talking to the mentors, and they said, you girls are great, but really we want to talk to the other mentors to see what they're doing and things they found that work with the kids. And that started our mentor council. So every 2 weeks, all of our mentors get together and they discuss tips, books, activities, issues that may come up. We bring in speakers like child psychiatrists that are also Eldera parents to answer questions about how to deal with different things. So from Mentor Council, after doing that a few times, every time after Mentor Council, we would write them an email with all the books and activities and everything they shared. And they said to us, this is great, but we want to talk to each other in between mentor councils, and we want to have a place where we can search for activities and books when we need them, not go through all your emails. So our co-founder Zhu was like, okay, let's do that. So now we built a private community that is invite only for our mentors, where they get to share ideas and talk to each other and counsel each other on the best things to do. For instance, one of the top activities to do, in particular with kids under 10, is to ask the parent for the kid to prepare a paper bag and put 3 of their favorite things in the paper bag. And so does the mentor, by the way. And then they do a show and tell. All the kids love show and tell. And that's how they get to know each other. And it's so beautiful to see what they put in the bag, but also what the mentors put in the bag. And how they always in the first 20 minutes of the first call, they find something they have in common, which is incredible.
Well, congratulations on what you're building. And obviously it is a work in progress as you continue to learn and refine and modify. And folks, this is unique. This is a global, as you guys call it, Dana, it's a global community of soul. And, we need this more than ever. We obviously need intergenerational connection, but we need to understand that as different as we all are, we are all very much the same. And I think Eldera is doing it exactly right. Dana, I'm not going to ask you about the health benefits for either the youngsters or the mentors, because I'm going to talk about that myself here in just a second. But stick around for a minute, if you will. And folks, if you do want to share your wisdom, if you want to reap the rewards of helping a youngster, all you have to do is go to Eldera.ai. I think we have the address where you can learn more about becoming part of the global virtual intergenerational village. And in Eldera's own words, the only requirement is to be kind, to be curious, and to be giving. And who doesn't want to be that? For many older adults, this is now a life stage in search of a purpose, and finding a purpose is absolutely critical to our healthy longevity. As we age, we all have a need to be needed, and society has a need for our voices to be heard. Older adults are an incredible source of wisdom and experience and intellectual capital, and that's why programs like Eldera are so important. In a society that has become segregated by age, breaking down the barriers between generations, and mentoring provides learning opportunities for children that will inform the way they age in the years ahead. Because what we've learned at Growing Bolder time and time again is that the way we age is primarily a function of our mindset, and our mindset is established at a very, very early age. And young children need to know that adults can be fun, they can be creative, they can be interesting, they can be generous, they can be compassionate, they can be empathetic, they can be silly. These are obvious things that we all know, but many children really don't understand that. And ultimately, that is going to translate into increased respect for their older selves in the future. But the benefits are also immediate. Children with senior mentors have been proven to have an increased motivation to learn. They have better leadership, they have better communication skills, and maybe most importantly, they have higher self-esteem. And of course, and here's the other part of that equation, the benefits go both ways. Multiple studies have shown that Americans over age 60 that are volunteers compared to non-volunteers, have lower mortality rates, they have lower depression, they have fewer physical limitations, they have higher levels of well-being, they have a lower incidence of cognitive decline. So volunteering is one of the greatest things you can do, no matter how you do it. And volunteering in a way that helps kids, I think, is especially powerful. And thanks to people like Dana and Eldera, you can now do it from home. You know, this has been a challenge for many of us for so long. I want to make a difference. I want to give back, but, you know, how can I do it? Especially with the pandemic. Well, now you don't even have to leave your house. You just have to reach out to Eldera, eldera.ai. You can tell I'm jazzed about me. And I want to leave you with one more meme before we say goodbye to Dana. This time it's a quote from Andy Rooney, who said, quote, "The best classroom in the world is at the feet of an elderly person." And now, thanks to Dana Griffin and Eldera, kids can be at the feet of elders worldwide, virtually anytime. So, Dana, thank you again for hanging out. Thank you for sharing your story and your company. And I wish you nothing but the best, and let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was great. Folks, have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. And remember, it's never about age. It is always about attitude. We'll see you next week.
Growing bolder, what's next?